My name is Sam Cusimano, and welcome to Electricity for Progress. Today, we will be setting up a simple biodata sonification node using a customized biodata sonification module, which outputs MIDI using a standard 5-pin DIN jack and featuring a micro USB power input. This unit is power isolated, allowing it to be plugged into USB rather than burning batteries, and at the same time isolating the unit from the larger system ground, giving us better reception of biodata. We will be using a MIDIplus MiniEngine Pro as our sonification device. This is essentially a computer sound card built into a small box containing a built-in battery. On the top of the MiniEngine, we have a headphone out port, a 3.5mm MIDI in jack, a full-size USB-A female plug, which we'll be using to power the biodata sonification unit, a micro USB input to give power to the MIDI engine, and through this larger host port, give power to our biodata sonification device, and finally, the simple power button. Looking around the desk, we have an adapter cable which plugs into the MIDI in port on the MiniEngine and connects to a 5-pin standard DIN connection, which we can then connect to our biodata sonification unit. We also have a short 5-pin MIDI cable, some sticky electrodes which we can use to attach to the leaves of a plant, the electrode cables, which have simple snap buttons that connect to the pads, and a 3.5mm jack, which plugs into the front electrode input on the biodata sonification unit, and 2 micro USB cables, which will be used to provide power. Also included in some of these kits is an additional electrode cable. This electrode cable has 2 small copper flat alligator style clips. These are very useful when testing with plants. Before trying to attach a sticky electrode, which potentially can get messy or rip a leaf, these electrodes can be used to clip on safely and without damaging a leaf to test different plants. These are also really great when attaching to a plant with smaller leaves, for example, a blueberry. To begin our setup, let's plug in the MIDI cables. We want to use the adapter plugged into the MIDI in jack, and then attach the short MIDI cable to the dongle. The short MIDI cable will then be plugged into the back of the biodata sonification unit. It's impossible to get this particular step wrong, as the 5-pin connector only goes in one way. Next, we're going to want to attach our power cables. First, I'm going to attach a micro USB cable to the biodata sonification unit, and I'm going to attach the other end of that cable to the USB host port. This will provide power to the biodata sonification unit. Next, we're going to attach the second micro USB cable to the 5-volt input on the MiniEngine. This end then will get connected to a power supply of some sort. This can be connected to a wall adapter, can be plugged into a computer, can be plugged into pretty much anything, which will give us USB power, even a small battery bank. Here I'm plugging it in to a power supply I have on my desk. Finally, we're going to attach the electrodes to the front jack of the Biodata Sonification node. There is a single knob which controls the sensitivity and power to the Biodata Sonification unit. Turned completely counterclockwise to the left, the unit is off. Now, to turn everything on, we first want to hold down the power button on the MiniEngine. I hold it down for a count of 3, and it boots right up. Next, we're going to turn the knob on the Biodata Sonification unit clockwise to the right. Once it clicks, there'll be a small light show, and now we're ready to rock. To test the unit, I'm simply going to press my fingers against these 2 electrodes. There should be a light show displayed on the Biodata Sonification unit, and we should see the MIDI light up on the MiniEngine. There we go. Next, we're going to want to attach a sound system so we can amplify the MIDI coming out of the MiniEngine. Here I'm going to use an extension cable to connect some simple headphones to be able to listen to the music that comes out of the MiniEngine. I will plug in the male end into the headphone port, and then the female end can be attached to a 3.5mm to RCA output or other output which can connect to an amplifier. In this case, I'm just going to be connecting to a set of headphones. Finally, in order to make sound, I'm going to touch my fingers against the electrodes, lean in with my microphone, and hopefully we'll be able to hear it through the headphones. Using this simple process, we can plug in our array of cables, include some extension, and be able to make music using our Biodata Sonification system. One more important note, we can also use an extension cable to extend the electrodes on the Biodata Sonification device. Here, I will simply use the same 50-foot 3.5mm extension cable. I will plug the electrode input into that extension cable, and then plug the extension cable into the Biodata Sonification unit. Now when I touch the electrodes one more time, you can see the system light up and MIDI is flowing through the longer cable. This makes it easy to connect to larger plants, to the leaves on trees, or to plants that are a small distance away. I use up to 50 feet of this extension cable without having a lot of loss of signal or trouble.